Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode. So as you can see all over my screen right now, today's video is going to be Outlaw Rogue's PvE guide. So I'm going to learn you exactly how to play Outlaw Rogue. And I know Outlaw Rogue is probably the rogue spec that everyone is like, how do I play it? Because I must admit that Outlaw Rogue is not. It can be difficult, it can be tricky. If you're a new player and you play Outlaw Rogue, it can be tricky. It is actually quite fun when you first master it, but when you don't master it, it can be annoying. But when you master it, it can be really fun. So let's just dive directly through it, and I will be going through stats, Azeroth traits, talents, and gameplay tips. So let's dive directly into it and let's talk about the stats. So the stats is, of course, the first stat you need is agility. And of course you would probably say now, yeah, we know it's agility. It will be on all our gear pieces. But if you didn't know, you know now. Besides that, if you get a agility trinket and a critical strike trinket, and they are both the same eye level, you would take the one with agility, because agility will benefit more than all the other stats if you have the choice between agility or a secondary stat. Boom. The next stat you want after agility is critical strike. Critical strike is, you could say, kind of a core for Outlaw Rogue. It helps all your damage and increase your critical strike, so you will be deal double damage. And as an Outlaw Rogue, you will be dealing a lot of fast damage that also is very beneficial of your critical strike. After that one we have Haste, and some people would probably say that Haste is more important than critical strike, but it can be discussed. I like Haste also as number 3 after critical strike, because Haste is increasing your attack speed, energy generation. Also you have a passive spell called Combat Potency, and Haste is also helping that one, so every time your offhand deals damage, it has 75% chance to give 10 energy. And the more haste, the more often you will be dealing damage with your offhand. Also you have a mastery that is called Main Gauge, and this mastery is every time you deal damage with what's called your main hand attack. So every time your main hand, you know, your right hand, if you're right-handed, every time you deal main hand attack, you have 30% chance to trigger an offhand damage that deals amount of damage based on mastery. So every time your main hand attacks deal damage, there's a 30% chance that your offhand will deal also some damage just instantly, and deals a lot of damage depending on your mastery. Also, this will of course increase the chance for both Combat Potency and Main Gauge to actually happen. So you can say Haste is really good, but I would say it's just after critical strike. Maybe you can even say they're equal, but just after critical strike I would probably say. After that it's versatility. It's because versatility is increasing your flat damage, so you can say it just increases your flat directly damage, and it reduces the damage you also take. Mastery is the last one. The reason for why I have mastery at the last one is because it increases the damage of your mastery spell that is called Main Gauge that I just talked about. So every time your weapon, your main hand weapon is dealing damage, it has 30% chance to trigger additional offhand attack. And the mastery that increases that damage is not really, I would not say go with. I would not recommend anyone going with mastery, because Haste is probably better. You want this actually to happen more instead of just getting some small damage increasement. I mean, if you can get a lot of haste and the mastery will happen twice as before, it's way better, I would say. So that is the stats. So the next step in the agenda, as you can see right over there, I'm just looking at nothing, and you can no mind, you understand it. And let's just go to the Azeroth. Let's just go to the Azeroth. So I'm showing the wrong one. Sorry, this is the Outer Ring Azeroth traits. So you know, you 2 new Outer Ring traits, and I will go through it one by one. My favorite one is Deadshot. So between the eyes, increase the damage of your next pistol shot by 3322 depending on eye level, but it is a lot of damage. I mean, this is really a lot of damage, so I love Deadshot. In single target, it's really great. The next one is Treasure's Covenant, and because every time you over 50% health, you will get a lot of more primary stat, is meaning agility. So you will get a 345 agility for eye level 400 at eye level item. I mean, just always, as long as you have more than 50% health. This is helping so much. The next one is Ace Up Your Sleeve. It's a funny word. Each combo point spent on between the eyes, increase damage by an additional 300, and granted this is the nice one, and granted 2% chance to gain 4 combo points. Boom. And you can see each combo point spent on between the eyes. That means you will be normally probably spending 5 combo points. That means 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Oh my god. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that means you basically have, if you use a 5 combo point between the eyes, you have 10% chance to get 4 combo point boof, directly back. And of course it deals 700 damage additional on each combo point. That is a lot. I mean, that's 700, 700, 700, 700, 700. Poof, a lot. Really a lot. It's really great. Really great. The last one, the reason I'm taking this one is because it increased your AoE damage. So your multiple damage on multiple targets. This one here is leading in so many ways on multiple targets. So for example, if you want to go to a dungeon, mythic dungeon, and you want to be that guy who deals most damage on trash mobs, keep your wits about you is going to be the Azeroth trait you want. It's so weird name. Keep your wits about you. What the? Yeah, okay. But each time an attack, blade flurries, increase the chance for Sinister Strike to strike again by 2%. Additional strikes of Sinister Strike deals 2000 more damage. So, but again, it's the best one for multiple targets, and the rest of the 3 at the top is, you can say, good for everything, like, but they're best on single target and also good on multiple targets. But keep your wits about you is the best one for multiple targets. The next row we're going to talk about is the middle row. Middle row is it's pretty much the same as trait I use on a lot of characters. The first one is Overwhelming Power because it gives you a lot of haste. It gives you so much haste. So every time you use a damaging abilities, you have a chance to get 25 stacks of haste. So 25 stacks, and each of the stacks has 26 haste depending on eye level. That is a lot of haste. The next one is God River and Heed My Call. God River is best for single target damaging, and Heed My Call is best for multiple targets and bosses that dies fast. Because God River is really only good if the single target is getting, when the single target you're attacking is getting under 30% health, and when he's under 30% health, there's a long time till he actually will die. If you just go to 30 and die, I mean, then you will not really get the beneficial from God River, because when the enemy, and you have God River on, is getting under 30% health, then it has this execute effect. So it will twice the often, it will more often, it will deal damage. I hope you understand. So when God River attacks the target under 30% health, it will happen a lot of more times. So that is why God River is better on, you can say, a single target than multiple targets. Yeah, that would make sense. Heed My Call is dealing a lot of damage. It actually deals more damage than God River, but because of the more often under 30% health, God River is still best on single target if the mob is getting a lot of time on this, you can say, under 30% health. But else, Heed My Call is pretty much the best one, because it deals AoE damage and it deals more damage just when it actually deals damage. So I hope it makes sense that I didn't make you, but again, this is what I recommend. So the next thing will be the talents. So let me switch over to the talent screen and let's talk about talents. So here we are on the talents. So let's go through the talents. I will go through each row and tell you which talent I recommend and why. So let's go through each row from the top. So the first row, I recommend using Quick Draw. Quick Draw is the one I would say damage wise is the best one, and it's not really restricting your gameplay. It's really good and it's easy to use. If you don't like Quick Draw's playstyle, Webmaster is also, you can say, acceptable playing with, close to Quick Draw. but quick draw is the best one, I would say, on paper and for playing style. So I would go with quick draw in the first row. On the next row, I would always, no matter what, go with acrobatic strikes, because hit and run will increase your movement speed at all times by 15. Yeah, okay, wow, you can run faster, you have a lower cooldown on grappling, but acrobatic strike will give you an increased range by 3 on all your attacks. This also affects your blade and flurry, and it also affects, yeah, basically all your spells. So why not having more, you can say, LE damage for wider spread. So I would say this one is the only one healing you, but actually dealing damage. For the next row, I'm so hardcore recommending Vigor. It makes your rotations much faster, funnier, and more active. You could also take deeper stratagem. It makes your rotation slower, because you have to use more time on building up combo points. But I will still go with the Vigor. For me, anytime, no matter what, I would just go with Vigor all the time. It makes your rotation so much faster and funnier, I would say. The next row, I would probably go with Cheat Dead all the time, because instead of dying, you will be reducing damage a lot, and the healer will be able to heal you. I mean, this can save you in so many scenarios where you screw up, so you will not be that annoying rogue who screws up and makes everyone die. This one here will instead just help you and save you, but it has a cooldown on 6 minutes, so it's kind of rough. On the next row, the only talent that is going to help you in damage is Prey on the Weak. So enemies disabled by cheap shot or between the eyes take 10% increased damage from all sources. I know that what is it called, your cheap shot and between the eyes is, what do we have here, between the eyes is probably not, I mean, the spells you always are going to use that much, but again, I mean, from this row, it's the only one that is helping you on damage, so just take it and let it be like that. On the next row, I would say Alacrity, I'm not sure how you say that word, Alacrity, you know what I mean, is the one I would say is winning in this row so much. It's the best damage wise, I would say. On the paper, it's the best damage wise. It makes your rotation also fine, nothing in that. Yeah, so your finish move had 20% chance per combo point to grant 2% haste for 20 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. So I would say Alacrity is the best one. It gives you a lot of haste, and you know, haste is our number 3 stat you want, so yeah, I would go with this one, Alacrity. The last row, all these 3 spells are actually quite good. Killing Spree is so easy to use. It has a good burst. It's the best of these 3 that has the biggest burst. But on paper, damage wise, Blade Rush is actually dealing more damage. So if you're against, let's say, well, it also works for Blade Fury, so it's not even in AoE, but Killing Spree is the easiest one to use. It has a really good burst, it has the best burst, you know, you need a burst right now in 5 seconds, poof, it's Killing Spree. But if you have a longer fight, Blade Rush is on paper dealing more damage. So, Also, Dancing Steel is the best one for sustained AoE fights. So if you want to be able to be the best one on multiple targets, trash mob fights all the time, it's the best one. But the problem with Dancing Steel is it doesn't do anything for your single target. So that's like, do you really want to take this talent that would screw up your whole single target rotation? I mean, it will not screw it up, it will just make your single target rotation do a lot of less damage. So it's like, do you want to be good on both single target and multiple targets, or do you want to be only guard on multiple targets? So it's like, so I would probably say go with Killing Spree if you want that easiest playstyle and a burst cooldown, or go with Blade Rush if you want that on paper more damage. You want to be you want to be in the damage meter dealing most damage, you could probably say. And of course it also requires that you use it actively. It has also a little catch, so while Blade of Fury is active, damage to non-primary targets increase by 100%. So that means when normally I know it deals 4000 damage to all nearby enemies, but when you have Blade of Fury, it will deal the same amount of damage it does to single target damage as it does to multiple targets. So it's quite great. So Blade Rush is probably, so I would say when I play Outlaw Rogue, it will be probably like this I would play. I could also, if I wanted a more bursty spec, go with Killing Spree, for example. But this is the talents I would recommend as an Outlaw Rogue. Let's go to the dummies now and train some gameplay. How guys, and here we are as the dummy. So let's talk about the gameplay. So there's a very important main thing you have to understand about Outlaw Rogues. Outlaw Rogue's damage is pretty much based about roll the bones. So roll the bones, the first thing you have to do, well, some of the things important in rotation is you have to fish for combo points. So how you fish for combo points is either using Sinister Strike, so Sinister Strike is your main fishing tool, but every time you use Sinister Strike, you have 30% chance to make your next pistol shot cost half the price and deal double damage. So you can see every time I use Sinister Strike, I have a chance to make my, there we go, now the pistol shot is glowing, it deals double damage and only costs 20 energy. So those are the main mechanics of your rogue to get combo points. So spam Sinister Strike, and every time Sinister Strike make pistol shot deal double damage, use it. Then when you get 5 combo points, you're going to use Roll the Bones. When you use Roll the Bones, you will get a buff. You can see now I got Skull and Crossbones. Skull and Crossbones is not really a trait that you like. It's like, it's a fine trait, but it's not a trait that you get happy with. The two traits, well, the two buffs that you actually get happy for is the buff called Ruthless Precision or Grand Melee. So for example, if I use it again, we're not happy for True Bearing. We're not happy for Borrowed Treasure. We're not happy for that one too. We're not happy for that one too. Or that one. This one here. Ruthless Precision or Grand Melee are the ones that you want to fish for. As you can see, it can take time before you actually get the good traits, but it will just be in your rotation for rolling for the, you can say, correct traits. That is how you can say Outlaw Rogues play. So how you do is that you start with your combat, of course, here. You just use Sinister Strike to get combo points, and every time your pistol shot is ready, you will use that Sinister Strike, and now roll the bones to see if you can get the right trait. I didn't get the right one, it's still fine, but instead of using our combo points on Dispatch, we actually want to use it on Roll the Bones again, because we want to have a good trait. So before using energy points on Dispatch for dealing damage, we want to make sure that we have the correct the correct roll before we're using energy on Dispatch. I know it's annoying, and you probably, you're sitting like, I really want to use Dispatch and deal a lot of damage. But that's not how it is. You have to get the correct roll before you actually want to waste energy or energy and combo points on Dispatch. So again, very important. You get combo points from Sinister Strike, and every time Sinister Strike make your pistol shot half, the price, doubles the damage. Those are the ways you get combo points. Then you want to fish for either Grand Melee, Ruthless Precision from Roll the Bones. So let's try it again. Now we got Grand Melee. Grand Melee is like my favorite one, but Ruthless Precision is also really good. So attack speed is increased by 55% and leech by 25%. That means now I can stop using Roll the Bones and I can begin to just use Dispatch and deal a lot of damage. And just follow my normal rotation by Sinister Strike and using pistol shot every time it glows and Dispatch. When there's 3 seconds left of Grand Melee, I have to begin to roll again. So you can say you have 36 seconds when you get the correct roll to enjoy the gameplay and just deal damage. When your correct buff is gone, you have to go back and begin to fish again. And let's see here. And this time we got 2 buffs. This can only happen 19%. When you get 2 buffs, you just stop and enjoy it. Because now you have both Skull and Crossbones and True Bearing, and you just simply enjoy that you have 2 buffs active. This happens rarely, but when it happens, it is so good. It is so good. I mean, this is so good. So then I would just stop using Roll, and I would just use my normal rotation by Sinister Strike for getting combo points, Pistol Shot every time it's glowing from your Sinister Strike, and use Dispatch every time you get 5 combo points. So that is like your main rotation. Let's go into your starter. So my opener, you can do it in different ways. You can even start with using Adrenaline Rush before you pull. So you can use Adrenaline Rush going into stealth and then ambush. But the dangerous things about that is the time that you're using to running against the target, you're kind of wasting, you can say, the energy regeneration. So you can say increase your energy regeneration by 60, your maximum energy by 50. So you can see when I use it, it takes like 2 seconds before I get full energy. So if you use more than 2 seconds before the boss is actually getting pulled, it's kind of waste. And you should probably use Adrenaline Rush after. But how you should use is, I would probably go stealth. Now the tank is going to attack, fine. I would open up with ambush. Ambush deals a lot of damage, and it always gives 2 combo points, so it's quite good. I mean, give 2 combo points and it deals more damage than Sinister Strike. What is not to like? After you have used your ambush, you would use Adrenaline Rush, and then you actually just use your normal rotation. It's not like other classes where you have to use an opener rotation and a normal rotation. This is pretty much it. You just stealth, ambush, Adrenaline Rush, and then you use your normal rotation. So let's talk about your rotation. I know I just talked about it before, but so the first thing when you go in the war, ambush. Now you fish for 5 combo points and use Roll the Bones. I got broadside. I'm not happy with that, so I will try to fish for another one. But remember, between you're going to fish for a new Roll the Bone, you still have to use all your abilities to deal most damage, because this is just a combo point, a combo, you can say a filler that you have to use. I still have to spam Sinister Strike to get combo points. I still have to use Pistol Shot every time it's glowing for the damage bonus. If you're talented Blade Rush or Killing Spree, you have to use it every time it's off cooldown. So every time my Blade Rush is off cooldown, I'd have to use it because it's free and it deals 8000 damage. It's more than all my spells. I mean, it's not more than Dispatch with 5 combo points, but you know what I mean. It's more than Pistol Shot, it's more than Sinister Strike. It's a lot of damage. But remember, it will give you 25 energy over 5 seconds. So I will probably not use it as a first spell. I will probably start with using maybe 2 Sinister Strike and then use it, because then it can help me get energy. But I will not use it in the start, because then you would probably waste it on energy. So how I would do is, I'll go to stealth, ambush, Sinister Strike, get up 5 combo, use my roll, then I would probably use Blade Rush, and now I have to check, did I get the correct buff? No, I did not. Then I have to use my normal rotation again, use my roll, I did not get the same good one again. So you can say you're pretty much playing the same rotation all the time now. The only difference is when you have the correct buff, you use Dispatch. When you don't have the correct buff, you use Roll the Bones. So it's very important to understand, when you have the buff called Grand Melee or Ruthless Precision, then you stop using Roll the Bones and use Dispatch instead. But sometimes you get 2 buffs because you're lucky, to 19% chance, then you also stop using Bones. You don't care which buffs it is, but as long as you have 2 buffs, it's much more important, and you begin to use Dispatch again. So let's go through again. Stealth, ambush, get up 5 combo points, use my Pistol Shot every time it's blinking. Now Roll the Bones. I didn't get the one I want. I use Blade Rush, Get up 5 comp points again. Roll the bones. I didn't get the one I want. Pistol shot. Sinister strike. Roll the bones. Now I have 2 buffs. I'm happy. I just got 2 buffs. Now back to my normal rotation. And now use dispatch instead. And it's just about using rotation fast. Just out with all the damage you can. Just damage, 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 damage. Damage, 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 damage. So that is the rotation. I would say it's not hard. It's hard for people who don't know what to do. But when you see this guide, you should now think, is that how you do it? Okay, that is actually quite easy. And yes, it is quite easy when you first understand it. Trust me, I had to learn this first. That's only why I can now tell you that this is how you do it. Let me just go over some quickly important things. When you play, and you already have 5 combo points, so you use, let's say you use 2 times Sinister Strike and you're lucky, you crit, and you get, let's say you get to full combo points, and your pistol shot is beginning to blink. It's ready, it's glowing, it says, use me. I cost a half price and I deal double damage. Don't use it if you're on full combo points. First use Roll the Bones or Dispatch and then use it, because you don't want to waste an additional combo point on getting another combo point when you have maximum combo points. So it's very important that you use your pistol shot after you have used your combo point spell. Also, it's very important you don't use your blade rush when you already have full energy, because then it will not. But you should still try to use blade rush as much as possible. Just use it every time you can, but don't use it when you have 100% energy, because then it's kind of waste. So always try to, okay, now I can see it's ready in 5 seconds. Use a lot of energy, boom, use it, a lot of damage, everything is good. Also, you have your adrenaline rush that increase your maximum, increase your energy regeneration by 60, your maximum energy by 50, and your attack speed by 20. It pretty much makes you very strong, and it makes your rotation much more easier and smooth. So all in all, pretty good. There's a little thing. So all on top of all this, there is a little thing in the rotation I have not mentioned. And I'm going to mention it now. You have a spell called Between the Eyes. Between the Eyes is not a damage spell normally. It's not a spell that you want to normally use for damaging, because as you can see, it deals less damage than Dispatch. It deals only 6,000 damage on 5 combo points, and this one deals 12,000. But when it critical strikes, this is where your critical strike is important. It deals 4 times the normal damage. This is so much. So let me tell you why. You should always use Between the Eyes when, now it comes, when you either have the one called Ruthless Precision. Let me try see if I can fish it. It just happened. I got all the traits in one go. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got all 5 combo points in one row. This can only happen like 1 person time. Damn, insane. No, okay, let's see. Can I get the one I want to try? Come on, give me the trait I want. Oh gosh. Now we got 2 points. There we go. There we go. So you want to add Between the Eyes in your rotation every time you get Ruthless Precision, because critical strike of Between the Eyes is now increased by 60. This is a lot. That means now my Between the Eyes has pretty much 100%. I mean, it depends on how much critical strike you already have, but because I said critical strike is the most important secondary stat. You should have a lot of it, and your critical strike should now be on like 100%. So between the eyes is only usable when you have the buff active called Ruthless Precision. It looks like a shark. Or if you have the Azeroth trait called, as I mentioned before, Ace Up Your Sleeve or Deadshot. So Deadshot, between the eyes, increase the damage of your next pistol shot by 3,800. Or Ace Up Your Sleeves, each combo point spent on between the eyes increase the damage by an additional 800 and grant 2% chance to gain 4 combo points. So if you have either this Azeroth trait, or the buff active from your bones, roll bones, called Ruthless Precision, you want to use between the eyes in your rotation. And don't worry, it's not making your rotation harder, because between the eyes is actually requiring, it has a 30 second cooldown, so you can only use it once every 30 seconds. But again, if you have either one of these two Azeroth traits, you want to use it, or if you have the Ruthless Precision active, you want to use this. So that was a little twist to your rotation, but it makes everything very cool if you have it active. A last little tip: while damaging and you're getting up combo points, you can actually go into Vanish and use Cheap Shot. Ambush. Not Cheap Shot, Ambush. You can use Ambush because Ambush will deal a lot of damage and give you 2 combo points. It deals more damage than Sinner Strike. It gives 2 combo points, so it's quite good. And I mean, now I can first use Vanish again in 2 minutes. So you can do it, you don't have to, but it's nice damage and it gives 2 combo points, so it's nice. It's nice, really nice. So yeah, I would say that is pretty much the rotation. If you're asking how do I deal damage against multiple targets, you pretty much just have the spell here called Blade Fury. So when you use Blade Fury, all your single target attacks also strikes all nearby enemies for 45% of the normal damage. And if you have the talent here called Acrobatic Strike, it has a longer range. So that means I use Blade Fury and I deal damage to this guy now, and it also deals damage to everyone else. So you could probably say that Outlaw Rogue has the easiest AoE damage in the game because they just have to use the normal rotation as they always use. Yeah. Yeah. So that was the Outlaw Rogue. We have been through stats. We have been through Azeroth traits. We have been through talents and the gameplay. Even I know the gameplay part was long. It has to be long because there's a lot of things to cover in it. And I really hope you understand the core construction of Outlaw Rogue. Of course you can probably say, well, but for increasing your damage you can also do this, you can also do that, and you can also enhance your abilities by this. I probably know, but I mean, I'm just making this guide so everyone can follow. Everyone can now understand how you play Outlaw Rogue as basic. So basically, how do you play Outlaw Rogue for everyone? Now you have the core structure, and now it's your job to get up here and be a professional gamer and join Method. just you know. So you know now how to play Outlaw Rogue in a very good way. So I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope you learned something. If you didn't, I mean, then I don't know what I should do. But I enjoyed making this guide. It was fun. I like Outlaw Rogue. It's really fun, and it's fun. It's really fun. So thanks you guys for watching. Thanks you guys for also joining my poll I did on my YouTube today. I asked which spec did you want to see, Assassin, Outlaw or Subtlety, and you, over half of the percent, actually said Outlaw Rogue. So that was pretty, I mean, that said, okay, this is going to be this guy then. So thank you everyone who joined that poll. Thank you everyone who subscribes. I mean, I just reached 4,000 subscribers. This is so amazing. I never imagined I would be on that. So thanks a lot for that. Thank you for making my dreams come true. Thank you. So thank you guys for watching. Have a nice evening. Press the like button if you like this guide. And leave down a comment. Tell me, what do you think? Do you play a rogue? Tell me. I need to know. So thanks guys for watching. Have a great evening. Wow.